the shadows of wealth and power, one name sent ripples across the world: Jeffrey Epstein, financier, convicted sex offender, and the architect of a sprawling global abuse network. But beyond the headlines, a massive trove of government files, the Epstein files, could finally lift the veil on what really happened. And who was connected to WHO? Was Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a typical Wall Street figure with an enigmatic financial career and ties to the world's elite. He lived at the intersection of privilege and secrecy. What made him infamous was something far darker. In 2005, Palm Beach police began investigating Epstein. After multiple reports that teenage girls were being paid for inappropriate massages, this led to a grand jury indictment in 2006, but a controversial plea deal followed, resulting in Epstein pleading guilty to state-level prostitution charges in 2008, serving just 13 months in jail under a work release arrangement that sparked outrage when revealed years later. Investigation. Arrest and the case lay relatively dormant until 2018, when a Miami Herald investigation exposed the extent of Epstein's abuse and the secrecy surrounding his earlier prosecution. This led to fresh federal charges. July 6, 2019. Epstein is arrested on federal sex trafficking and conspiracy charges. August 10, 2019. Epstein is found dead in his New York City jail cell, ruled a suicide while awaiting trial. His death triggered widespread anger and conspiracy theories, not just about how he died, but about what the authorities were hiding. What are the Epstein files? The term Epstein files refers to thousands of pages of documents collected over years of investigations. They include flight logs, emails, contact books, court records, grand jury transcripts, and other evidence compiled by police, federal investigators, and prosecutors. Researchers and journalists believe these files hold clues about how Epstein's network operated and possibly who else may have been involved. Push for public release 4 years after Epstein's death. Most of these documents remained sealed. Victims, journalists, and lawmakers demanded transparency. In 2025, the fight reached a critical moment. November 18, 2025. The Epstein Files Transparency Act passes the U.S. Congress with overwhelming support. November 19, 2025. The President signs the bill into law. The law required the Department of Justice to release all unclassified files relating to Epstein's cases by December 19, 2025. But the rollout proved far from straightforward. Document release in Sawanter, ARS, ASAS. December 19, 2025, the DOJ began releasing hundreds of thousands of pages of documents, but much of it was heavily redacted, blocks of text obscured, victims' identities protected, and sensitive items withheld in some cases. Entire pages, including grand jury transcripts, were blacked out completely, prompting criticism from both sides of the aisle. Included in the released material were disturbing items: thousands of nude and non-nude images seized from Epstein's properties, flight logs showing prominent individuals' travels, and internal FBI complaints that had never been public. Some images showed Epstein with public figures, though appearance in a photo does not imply wrongdoing. It ignited intense debate and fueled conspiracy theories. New documents and DIYs, just when it seemed the release might be complete. Federal authorities announced a massive twist. Over 1 million more documents potentially linked to the Epstein case had been discovered, meaning the full release could take weeks longer. Critics accused the DOJ of stonewalling and redacting excessively to obscure politically sensitive names and protect powerful individuals. The agency maintained the extensive redactions were legally required to protect victims and sensitive investigations. What's in the files? So far, the released Epstein files include FBI complaints that first alerted authorities to Epstein's abuses, photos from Epstein's homes, including possessions and scenes investigators documented, contact books and flight logs tied to Epstein's planes. Many names and details were redacted or omitted. Under legal restrictions, experts point out that even heavily redacted materials can be valuable, offering timestamps, travel patterns, in contexts that law enforcement missed or ignored in earlier probes. Legal and ethical, the Epstein files raise tough questions about justice and public transparency. Survivors want accountability. Some lawmakers argue that powerful interests have historically shielded elite figures. Others warn against speculation based on incomplete records. What comes next? As more documents are released and reviewed, the world watches closely. Will the Epstein files bring closure to survivors, accountability for the powerful, or more questions than answers? Only time and transparency will tell.